Well, Kristen, do you want to talk about too, like what you're doing now? And I think it's a big, you'll notice it's labels again, less resources, less staff, and now like what you're doing now, and again, like how that you actually shifted almost from management to,
One quick point I wanted to make on the majors before I go into that is deals these days have changed. In most every major label is now signing 360 deals, and that means they're not only retaining the rights to your master, they want a piece of your touring, a piece of your merchandise, they want to own your publishing, they want it all. So that's something else to really consider if you do have an opportunity to sign with a major, and that's what they're asking for. Look at the artists on that roster. Look at what they've done with other artists that have given them all that power. Has it helped them? Are they, now not making any money and just sitting at home? I mean, that's something to consider. But to answer Robbie's question, so now I'm in a business, it's called Croshal Entertainment Group, and what we do is we work directly with artists and we work with other entities, whether it's publishing or an independent label, and we take a record, a finished record, and basically from soup to nuts, we take the record and get it out to street. So that means we do the budget, we do a marketing budget, we don't provide the funding. So whoever comes to us has funding secured. So we've done this a bunch with Sony ATV with some of their artists. We do the budget, we hire the whole team, so that means we outsource every part of it. Publicity, online marketing, radio promotion, sales, whatever, that plan is called for. We hire those people, we manage the whole project, and we essentially take that album and go through the whole process of releasing on a major, but you control everything. You know exactly what's going on. You know how your money's spent, and it's just giving the artist the complete 100% control over how your product's put out. So that's what my company does, and it's just another alternative for releasing music. There's so many companies out there, VH1 signing bands, you have different investors, different, mobile partners that are putting money into bands to put content out. There's just so many different ways to get your music out now, so this is just one option.
Which, by the way, was unheard of 5 years ago, right? And I think it's key that the person you're working with understands all those models, because it was very easy, like 10 years ago, right? It was super easy, right? It's like, hey, a label is going to put out my record. I mean, it wasn't say easy, but now there's so many different ways that you could put out your music and that you can develop, what you're doing. And the person that's doing that, you don't want to be spending the time figuring out all those ways. You want to be working with somebody that understands them and is going to just continue to pursue the variety of ways that you can put music out. Larry, do you want to speak on?
I go back to what you're talking about. The difference with the labels now is that they're not developing bands on the major labels. They don't have the time or the resources, so they're looking for a band to come in that's kind of already in motion. They're getting blog hits here. They've got this many plays. They already have done a couple tours with so-and-so. That's what they're doing now. They're not taking the chances anymore. You're not going to see that band that gets the second, third album to try to break commercially. The Kings of Leon, My Morning Jackets were almost like the last round of that, where they were allowed 2 or 3 unsuccessful albums before now you see that they've paid their dues and they have a real fan base. I think that's really what's changing now. But in terms of what we're doing, it's similar to you. Future Sounds is a management company, but it's also, we've had to evolve. We looked at the landscape and said, man, all these guys are screwing it up pretty good. I think we could probably do just as good a job doing that. So we've started a merch company. We've got an events company. We own a radio station. We're doing television shows. We have a music supervision company, radio promotions, and new media company, all in-house. So that first step for a band across the board, we can control at least that first round and give them that little bit of development time.
Getting it started.
Yeah, and by the way, in 360s, like our office has a motto, which is, labels do 360s, we do 365, right? And it's, the person that's representing you should understand not just record contracts, but just every every aspect of the business. Radio, retail, marketing, international. If you hopefully get to that point, A&R, and A&R is, it's amazing how much that's changed. It's like some A&R guys are just pizza delivery guys, right?
Yeah.
They literally just deliver pizza to the studio. Hey, just want to check and see how your record's doing. Mm-hmm. And it was so much different, right? But you just to understand, like, does a person know, like, what an A&R person does? New media, right? Like, all the aspects of the label does. Yeah, not so new media, right? I call myself old media. But to understand so when you're dealing with all the changes that are going on in the label, that you understand all the aspects and the facets of that label, right? So, and it doesn't end, right? So, and I think one of the things we just talked about was that managers are more involved than ever, right? They're either finding places that are going to do the work for them because they're not, clearly the labels can't do it, or they just have to do it themselves and get in there. And they have to, and believe me, what I think is really interesting is that a lot of these places want to deal straight where they get the answer, right? Immediately. So whether it's, like Lou's Records, let's talk local, right? 91X or 94.9, and or Lou's, or if it's a music supervisor.
Or a venue.
Or a venue.
Beach, belly up.
Right. They want to talk to the person, they get an immediate answer. And now that this huge gatekeeper has, for whatever reason, it doesn't exist on the level that they did before, they're going straight to managers. Yeah. So whoever's representing you better know their shit. Or if you're representing somebody, you better know. And there's books you can get on it.
For aspiring managers, there's never been such a wealth of information available. There's subscription services with Artist Force, so Celebrity Access or Polestar Pro. It's all out there. You can learn some of it. You can learn names. You can put two and two together. There's conferences and panels, and for people like us who would probably be called grizzled or jaded or veteran, maybe we don't go to the panels as much, but South by Southwest, if there's somebody you've been dying to talk to, stalk them after the panel, and that's when you'll track them down. And the most important thing for aspiring managers, if there's somebody you're trying to learn something from, be professional, be courteous, send an email, follow up with a phone call, ask if they have time. I return the emails and the calls from the people who are respectful and courteous and want information. And
Is
if
that
they
when you never return mine, Wayne?
Wait, I got a text message. No, wait, didn't I tweet you back? Look, people get a lot of messages and there's a lot of things going on, but if you really want to learn something from somebody and broaden your knowledge, the opportunities are out there. And like he said, you have that responsibility more than ever to be the expert for your client, and if you're an aspiring manager, if this is what you want to do, then become the expert.